You know what that music means. Let's talk some Knicks. The Knicks are patiently awaiting the conclusion of the Cavaliers-Pistons series as they prepare to face the winner in the Eastern Conference Finals. New York's leader, Jalen Brunson, has been outstanding throughout the postseason, though he's humbly downplayed his status as a player. Listen to this.
Some stars might push back. They're used to having the ball in their hands. And might take it as maybe a slight, but it doesn't sound like you did. Why was that something that you were so happily to go along with?
One, I'm not a star. Two, I want to win.
Why don't you think you're a star?
She said one question.
Love this answer by Jalen Brunson. Okay, Kendrick Perkins. He said it, so now we have to ask the question about it. How many players would you start a franchise with before Jalen Brunson? How many stars do you think there are out there if he says maybe he's...
4.
That's it?
4.
Okay, good, go.
4. Yeah, that's it. 4. Wemby, SGA, Ant-Man, and Jokic. That's it. Because, look, the whole narrative has been that you can't win at a high level with a small guard. Jalen Brunson has changed that narrative. Jalen Brunson, Big Body Brunson, is on the verge of joining elite company. Forget winning the championship. I'm saying elite company for as a guy leading their team to the promised land, getting to the NBA Finals. Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas, Allen Iverson. And the market that he's playing in is one of the toughest markets in the sport of basketball, in sports, period. He has carried the weight on his shoulders, the highs, the lows. What he has done, he has stayed even keel. He's always in the MVP conversation. He's going to make an all-NBA team. And what he's doing right now is that he's changing the narrative and he's giving guys under 6'3" hope to come in and say, you know what, we actually got a shot to play at this high level. So when you think about what Brunson has done in New York, having to deal with that fan base, having to hear people like Stephen A. on a day-to-day basis, and he's carried the weight on his shoulder and delivered in great fashion. And by the way, over the past 3 seasons, he's been one of the most clutch guys in the NBA. Big Body Brunson, yes, it's only 4 guys that I'm taking over him if I'm starting a franchise today.
Well, yeah, that's the key. I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I would tell you I would put Steph Curry ahead of him if Steph Curry wasn't 37, 38 years of age. But we did say today, I'm just saying in terms of style of play, what I would want from a guy at that position, I would take Steph Curry above Jalen Brunson if he was younger. But he's not younger, so we say today I got no issue with it. Let me say this and piggyback off a subject, and let me address some of these critics of Knicks fans that get on folks about how we reacted when the Knicks first got Jalen Brunson. I want to say to all of them out there, y'all could kick rocks, all right? I don't give a damn how you feel. All right, I want to get this off my chest right now. Listen, when Jalen Brunson has not hesitated to remind me of this, and yes, I owe him a visit on his podcast with him and Josh Hart and all of that. Let me say this. When he first arrived with the when he was first drafted in the NBA, I didn't know, obviously none of us knew he was going to be this kind of player. Mm-hmm. And he reminds me quietly when he sees me about how I doubted him coming out of Villanova. That's fair enough. I haven't doubted Jalen Brunson since the moment he took the Mavericks to the conference finals, because if you remember, Luka was hurt for a couple of series before he came back, and they ultimately had gone to the conference finals. So I haven't doubted Jalen Brunson since then. I thought that he should have been paid by Dallas. I thought Dallas was foolish not to pay him, et cetera, et cetera. I thought the Knicks got him at a bargain and all of this other stuff. But it's this little clip, this montage going around, all of us who had doubts about Jalen Brunson when he arrived in New York City. You lying asses. This is what they're all missing. It was the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. It was Kevin Durant that everybody was after. It wasn't that we thought that Jalen Brunson wasn't a good player. It was that Kevin Durant was trying to decide where he was going to go. And he ultimately chose Brooklyn when everybody was led to believe it would be the New York Knicks. And so when the New York Knicks were in those sweepstakes and you ended up getting Jalen Brunson, it was a bit deflating because at no time did anybody look at Jalen Brunson as being in the same class as Kevin Durant. Okay? We still shouldn't have to apologize for that to this very day. In 2010, when everybody thought that the New York Knicks had an outside shot and LeBron decided to take his talents to South Beach, okay? You know what we did? We were disappointed because we had to settle for Amari Stoudemire. We know Amari was a stud when he was healthy, and he had a good first year in a New York Knicks uniform. But we knew those knees weren't going to last. But the point is, he wasn't LeBron James. It's not to say that he couldn't play. It's not to say that we didn't appreciate him. It wasn't to say that we weren't going to appreciate Jalen Brunson. But if you had to rewind the clock and go back then, who in God's name thought that a Jalen Brunson acquisition was going to be tantamount to acquiring the likes of Kevin Durant? Not a damn soul on the basketball planet. So this montage is running around, these sorry-ass trolls that are looking for clickbait and trying to misrepresent other people's position. I'm here to remind you, do you not know basketball? Did you not remember basketball? Are you saying that at that time that Jalen Brunson was equal to acquiring Kevin Durant? You know you would never do that. So shut the hell up.
Context always matters. All right, we got to go here. Following First Take at noon Eastern. Right.
The complicated relationship between LeBron James and the Lakers and what lies ahead. It included this excerpt that I thought was really interesting and I think can be observed or can be taken a lot of different ways. It says here, Lakers officials would on occasion partake in a parlor game of sorts during games at Crypto.com Arena. An onlooker, was asked to observe James play for a stretch, disregard his name and age, and evaluate his play to come up with a salary number that an anonymous player in that position would deserve next season. Can you help me digest that, Wendy? I'm trying to decide. Our staff and I think, view this differently. Tell me when you read that, what was the first reaction that you got from it?
Well, the Lakers have a problem. The Lakers don't want to lose LeBron James. They don't want to lose his 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists a game, but they don't want to pay $50 million for it because the rest of the league isn't going to come bidding $50 million. But here's the reality. If you have a superstar player, and LeBron James is still an all-star, and he is still a superstar player, still a top 20, 25 player in the league, it's very hard to ask that player to take a pay cut, whether he's 21 or 41. And if you want LeBron to take a pay cut, you can't just indeterminately say, hey, will you take a pay cut? You better bring him a reason to take a pay cut and explain that, yes, the team was 0-8 against the Thunder this year, but if we acquire this player or these two players with the money you're going to leave on the table, we can overcome that. I think LeBron would be open to that. But the concept that he's just not as good anymore and that maybe he's only worth $30 million instead of $50, you're not getting that from LeBron James. LeBron James doesn't believe in that, and I don't expect him to accept that. And I'll tell you one thing, if you're the Lakers, if you force LeBron to leave, he'll go somewhere else and play for less money. He won't want to stay for the Lakers and play for less money if he thinks it's an insult.
Yeah, I think that's the way I took it. I actually read that in a positive way, which is to say, some people might say, you're going to pay this guy that much money at this age, and they're looking at it and they're saying, if you didn't know how old he was, how good would you say he is? He is still playing at that level. If he played enough games this year to be eligible for the All-NBA teams and all that stuff, I think he would have gotten serious consideration. He's still playing at a level that high, yes?
Yeah, I don't care how old he is, man. There's no way LeBron James should ever have to consider a pay cut or ever be in this whole situation of sending somebody to look at him and like, what are we talking about? We're talking about a guy that's arguably top 3 of all time.
Right.
Nobody needs to watch LeBron James. We know what he is. We know what he does. He's still playing at a high level. This is just crazy.
Perhaps. Monica, why are you making that face?
Really, PJ? Like, listen, I take nothing away from the body of work that we have been privileged to witness when it comes to LeBron James. But if the goal is to win a championship and we got to make these numbers work, like, I think you got to at least, like Greeny said, be able to like Wendy said, be able to have the conversation and present why. I take nothing away from who he is. But right now, it's a young man's league. Like, you're trying to win? Come on.
I hear you. I'm going to put the question a little bit differently. If the object is to try and win next year, and I told you they could either have LeBron James or Austin Reeves, but not both, I'm telling you right now, I would take LeBron James.
1,000%.
I know Reeves is whatever he is, almost 20 years younger. I'm not quite that, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I understand all the other factors that go into that, but I think he gets it closer to winning than anyone else they do. The bottom line of it, though, Wendy, is that's not the either or that we're dealing in. We're dealing in, is there someone else out there in the universe that the Lakers could go and get? And I'm not convinced that person exists, Winman. Help me out here.
Exactly. Here's the paradox. If I told the Lakers and their fans that they were going to use their cap space to go out and sign 2 of the top 5 free agents in the market and be the winners of free agency, they would say, oh my God, yes, who are we getting? And I would say to them, Austin Reeves and LeBron James, because they are 2 of the top 5 free agents. It's not as simple as just going out and spending. The Lakers would have to replace the production of the players they lose. And so it is, I agree, it is very difficult, which is why I think in the end, and I expect the Lakers to make a full evaluation, in the end, I think they're going to be better off bringing back the core of this team and trying to add a piece and hoping that their improvement is Luka Doncic being healthy at the end.
Yes, absolutely. When he was there, they were very healthy. Okay, we'll continue. When he was healthy, they were playing very well. Whether it's ultimately good enough or not remains to be seen. All right, we'll continue much more basketball as we go. But up next, you have to hear this quote. Jackson Dart is